I'm Mike.
And I'm Adam.
And this is Stuff and Waffle. Two friends talking about stuff, and often as not, waffling with frequent reference to Bond cars.
Well, here we are, coming at you from the festive period.
Very festive, yes. Merry what's-its and all that.
All of that. So, yes, it feels like we could probably get away with murder in this episode because everyone will be just too tipsy to even notice what's occurring.
Oh, no one's paying any attention to us. No. It's fine.
No, we're probably getting courtesy listens at best.
Yeah, we're currently being used for background whilst other activities far more interesting are going on. I suspect. Yes.
Or someone's got a moment of quiet and went, "Oh, I'll listen to Stuff and Waffle," because
podcast on. Yes.
Because they've done day drinking, they'll be asleep within minutes.
That's true. So we'll be subliminal then.
That's it. So I think we could be maybe first 5 minutes sensible and then try our luck after that.
Yeah, start asking for large sums of money to be sent to us and things like that. Yeah. Because that'll work then, being subliminal, and you know.
Yeah, fine.
Yeah,
absolutely fine.
Give us cash, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah,
cash is king. Still, it's fine.
Oh yeah.
So, but I mean, it was very topical there of saying we're coming at you from the festive period, but we're back in time. You see, we're not festive at the moment.
We're not even slightly. No.
No. By the time you listen to us, I would hope that we've caught up with where you are festive wise.
Yeah.
But to somewhat date it, we are going to talk about a couple of cars. We've got some new cars that warrant our attention. Now,
yes.
Now, you're either pleading ignorance or you're just playing along. I don't know which way at this point.
Well, I don't know what you're going to talk about. So.
No, true, but I guarantee you'll go, oh yeah. How about a Renault 5 Turbo?
Okay, this one I do know about and was going to bring up if you didn't.
Okay.
Yes.
So, that's happening then.
The Renault 5 Turbo 3E EV. It's too many E's in that.
Yes.
Yes. They have said they're going to make it.
Yes, and doesn't it look good?
I think it's fabulous.
It's all of. I mean, it's over the top, obviously, but that's great.
Well, so was the original Renault 5 Turbo.
So this raises a very good point. So if we look at the originals now, I think it's more styled after the Turbo 2.
Okay, yes, you could be right. Yes.
Because it's those rear haunches, isn't it? It's
got all the haunches. Yeah.
But whatever we say, whether how pedantic we get, it's great, isn't it?
It is great. Yes, it is. I'm just looking at some pickies of the Turbo 2, and yeah, I think you're probably right.
So let's face it. We're very much in line with what the internet have said on this one. I'm going, right, well, we need it, and we need it now.
Yeah.
It's so it's going to be roughly 500 horsepower and rear-wheel drive.
So they have said, yes.
0 to 60, 3.5 seconds.
That's really quick.
It's quite rapid, isn't it?
It's really quick. Yeah. It looks brilliant. I mean, it really does look brilliant.
So what they've done is they've taken a car that is incredibly desirable and you can't get for love nor money, and made it even more appealing to petrolheads.
Yeah, that's very appealing to petrolheads.
Which is an amusing choice of phrase, I know, but
given that it's an EV, yes, but that's it's a rare occurrence where you get a manufacturer who will present something as a lot of them do, as well, of course we could do this, and isn't it cool? But we're not actually going to. So
yeah, that does happen a lot.
Get excited about it at shows, but we're not really going to make it. So there it is. They're actually going to make it. So, I would imagine in relatively small numbers.
Yeah, I would say so. Which I still think they'll be selling like hotcakes, won't they?
Yes.
And what's really interesting is we had the rather hot version from Alpine, the A290, was it?
Mm-hmm. Yep. Got the Alpine version, yeah.
Yeah, and we look at that and go, well, it's a hot 5. And then you go, no, it's not, is it?
No.
Not even close.
No, not now. No. It's slightly warm.
Yeah. And you look at the standard 5 and this new 5 turbo 3E, whatever.
Yes.
Stupid name. And those two look spot on, the normal car and the turbo. And now you look back now at the A290 and go, it's awkward, isn't it?
Yeah, it is a bit, isn't it? Yeah.
Tricky, very tricky.
It is tricky. If you want an extreme version of the 5, it's this one, isn't it, really?
Yes, it is.
It is.
So, one of each? Well, one for each of us, I mean.
I think so, yeah. Okay. I think so. We'll get on fine with that.
Yeah, that's good. That does actually bring us back to the fact that we were due to configure a 5 and we never did.
Oh, we never did we? No. That's a very good point. I had completely forgotten about that.
No, so we do need to do that.
Yeah, we do. I would very much enjoy doing that. Yes.
Now, from all of the bits that I've read on the Turbo 3E,
the 3EV.
Yeah, I've read about the stats and I've got stuck at the pictures because they look great. I've had no confirmation on the Baguette holder.
Oh, that's a worry.
Now, I must insist that is still there.
Yeah, because it's there on the ordinary car. I have no interior photos.
No, I have not seen any. So it's very important that gets carried over.
Oh, it is. Yes, it is. We need. Yeah, it becomes entirely unacceptable if it doesn't have that. Yeah.
I'd be staggered if they didn't be missing a trick. I mean, because
sometimes
you need to transport your Baguette at speed.
Oh, you do.
Yeah.
You get it home while it's still warm.
Quite. I mean, an urgent Baguette. That brie's not waiting forever.
Baguette, so that the brie will still melt into it. You see, this is really important. French stereotype at all? Do you think? Maybe.
I don't know. I'm on board with it because I like baguettes and brie.
I very much. Yeah, it's one of my favourite things. I'm hoping to sample a quantity over the festive period.
Yes, that's quite right. What you need to do is really just work on that gout.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, with the red wine.
Perfect.
Yeah, it's coming along nicely.
Yeah, good. But yeah, well done. extremely well done to Renault. Doffed the caps, or doff the beret, if you will.
It would have to, not a cap. No, definitely definitely a beret.
Yeah, really cool.
Yes.
And I know we've had the Ioniq 5N, which is quite the vehicle.
It is quite a thing, yes.
But it's quite big.
It's bigger than you think, isn't it?
Whereas this is the potential, I know, the first proper hot hatch in EV form.
Yeah, Ioniq 5 is surprisingly big. I have been in one, and it's like a Focus. Whereas
I'd having physically, I've not been in one, but been near one, I would say bigger than a Focus.
It's probably even bigger than a Focus, actually. Yes, that's probably fair. Yeah. But it's bigger than you expect. It's nice, but bigger than you expect. Yeah, 5 is the correct size.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Oh, there goes one.
A backup beer.
Yes.
It's been a week. So that's good. That's really good. Nice.
We approve of that's got the Stuff and Waffle seal of approval, definitely.
Now, another car that's been officially unveiled.
Are you going to mention the second one on my list for this evening as well?
I think I might, and it's going to be really difficult to mention it because a podcast that you and I hold dear have latched on to this particular model of vehicle, making it really difficult to refer to.
Yes, I have.
Because, for instance, if you look at the news article that accompanies this on Pistonheads, a website that we frequent, and we really enjoy their articles.
It's a wonderful place to read about car-related items. Yes.
Now, what I'm going to do is, before we inevitably say what it is, I would like you to guess how many comments it takes to get to a Smith and Sniff reference of this vehicle.
It's not going to be many, and I can probably guess what the comment is.
Okay. So what number do you think the comment is first?
All right, I'm going to take a guess, and because I haven't looked, although I do have the article open, I haven't looked at the comments. I'm going to guess within 5 comments.
You see, that's where I would have guessed. When the original article came out, it was that number, but unfortunately, it's dropped to the 12th post on this one, I'm afraid.
Okay, it's still up there.
It's still up there. And what would you hazard a guess that that comment is?
2.2, yeah.
Oh, it's a good guess. It really is.
Either that or never seen a rev counter do what it did.
Again, another solid guess. But you're going to kick yourself when you realise it's believe you.
Oh no! I think that's not as on point.
I quite like that one as well.
It's a good one, but I don't think it's as on point as 2.2. Yeah. Does the guy he's talking about when he tells those stories, is he aware that he's become this internet legend? Wherever he is in the world today, does he know?
I would strongly suggest he doesn't know.
No, probably not.
But we are talking about Honda's confirmation that the new Prelude will be sold in Europe from 2026.
Yes.
And will be a hybrid 2-door coupe complete with S Plus shift.
Mm.
So, what we've got here is a blast from the past in terms of model name, and what they've done is they've not turned it into an SUV.
They haven't. It's actually a fantastic looking thing.
Really like it.
Yeah. The back end has even got a little bit of 911 about it, I would say.
Yeah, it's got a little hint there, isn't it?
Yeah, I reckon. Yeah. It's a really good-looking car.
Yeah, I think it's got a divided opinion. I quite like the look of it.
Yeah,
some people have said it's boring. And like, well, it's not though, is it? But all right.
No, I don't think it is. It's not flamboyant, but I wouldn't say it's boring. I think it's. But I mean, it is a Honda.
Yeah.
I think it's great. It's great, and it's great that they're doing it.
What's going to be interesting is they've not confirmed engine size yet. They have confirmed it's going to be hybrid.
They've said it will be hybrid, so there will be an electrical system in there.
Yeah, to be expected, I suppose.
Yeah.
But the interesting bit is this S Plus shift.
Yeah, what's that? What's that all about then?
So it's essentially.
Sorry, I sounded just like Griff Rhys-Jones then. What's that all about then?
I know and what you've done there is you've aged yourself beautifully.
Really, really badly.
Really well done.
Alas.
Yes, we are old. Yes.
Yeah, we are that old. Yes.
So it's essentially going to. They've not said what the gearbox is, but it's going to simulate quick automatic shifts. So you're still going to have, from what they've described, you're still going to have paddles, but you're not necessarily going to be changing gear. And I've not really worked out this tech yet.
No. Okay.
This is the bit that makes me go, all right, so what are we going to get?
Yeah, that sounds odd.
It does sound odd, but I mean, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. We'll see.
I mean, presumably when it's running, well, what's the hybrid system for? Can it run on electric, or is it just for a power boost?
I don't think we've got confirmation.
We don't know that yet. Okay. For 2026, it would make sense if it could run on electric. Rather than, otherwise you're never going to be able to take it into a city or anything like that by then. So
yeah, they will have moved on. I'm almost certain it will be able to propel itself on electric.
It will have a certain electric range. So presumably when it's in electric, you won't need to change gear because it's irrelevant. So,
but you also say that, but the simulated shifts are something that we have seen before. On the the aforementioned Ioniq 5N has that.
Okay, right. Okay.
So it's a bit of a weird one, but until we know more.
So it's an auto box that's got paddles, but you won't use them to change gear.
Well, I don't. That's the tricky bit of going. I don't even know if this is an automatic box. This could be some real wizardry about to occur.
It would have to be for a hybrid to have a manual box.
Yeah,
that would be some tricky tech. That would. Because switching then between electric and petrol, presumably not going to make it diesel, are they?
No.
Is going to be a completely different driving experience. A manual petrol coupled.
Well, that's the thing of going. I'm at the point where I don't know if you're going to have what we would deem a manual gearbox or an automatic gearbox. I think it's going to be way more high tech than either of those.
Probably, yes. Oh, it's not going to be AI, is it?
I hope not. Well, actually,
I don't want a car with a gearbox run by AI.
I tell you what, I was using AI today for work, and it worked.
Blimey.
Yeah, I gave it a simple job and it did it.
Okay. not had that before.
No, it's new territory. However, that isn't looking after my gearbox. That I would deem that to be a slightly more technical job.
I don't want AI involved at all, actually, in the driving of my car. But
No.
I may end up being in the minority there. But yeah, no thanks.
That comes back to the old bastard element in both of us there, I'm afraid.
Yes, probably does. Yeah, it probably does. Okay, so it's got some mysterious tech that we clearly can't imagine and don't understand.
Yeah, it's above our pay grade, that one. But I mean, it's basically more details to follow on that.
Okay, well, I think it's great that they're doing it. It's a fantastic looking thing.
Mm-hmm.
It makes sense that it's hybrid, given that it's not going to be released for another 2 years.
Yeah.
And yeah.
So what are we thinking? I mean, because even Kaylee spotted it, and she's like, "Oh God, you're going to buy another Honda, aren't you?"
Oh, you think this might be a future purchase?
I reserve judgment for the time being, but
I think you need to know a bit more about it before you can say that, don't you? Really?
Yeah. That's a bold call, but
Yeah,
I tell you what, I think I'm with you in the fact that I think it looks quite nice. But what I'm also really pleased with, that it's a name from the past, but a modern version of what we know a Prelude to be.
Yes, that's good. Fair to say. Yeah.
Yeah. And I feel they must be commended for that, because some of the stuff in the Honda range at present is a little bit toss. Let's face it.
Oh, more than a little bit. Yes, dull as anything. Yeah.
Yeah. There's some dull, and then you've got some excitement. You've got a Civic and a Type R. Great, that's good stuff. But then it's straight back to the boring. Then.
Yeah, there's not a lot in the lineup to get you excited, is there? Really?
No.
They've been playing it safe.
Fair play to them, though. Really, really impressed.
Because they never made the other pure electric car that they unveiled alongside the Honda E.
The sports car.
Yeah, they never made that. So,
which is a shame, because that was a cracking looking thing as well.
Yeah, the world wanted them to, but they said, no, we're going to do the little hatchback. It's like, no, we don't do the other one.
Yeah, but I'm by all means do the hatchback. I'm glad they did.
Yeah.
But do both. Yeah. And now they're going to do this.
They're going to do this instead. And I guess if it's a success, then there will probably end up being a pure electric version of it, I would suggest.
Quite possibly. But yeah, I'm really pleased that it's the concept that they unveiled, and you go, well, this is clearly the production one now. You go, well, it's essentially the same. It's a different colour, but
exactly. Well, there you are. You see, that's Renault and Honda, both producing their prototypes that nobody thought they would.
Yeah, we're at a point now where I would have never pegged Honda for producing a two-door coupe.
Not anymore.
No.
I thought those days were gone. But yes, and now we have endless more possibilities for comedy moving forward. So.
Oh yeah. So that's good. Considering this is probably meant to be a sort of time of year where it's not big news, that's pretty good, because everyone's normally winding down for a festive period.
It's two late season announcements there, isn't it? Yes,
it is. And what's interesting is all is quiet from the world of Jaguar.
Yeah, well, there's been a few more posts on their Instagram, but that's about it.
Yeah, it's been a bit.
A few more pictures of the Pink Panther.
But it's sort of died down, isn't it?
Yeah.
There was all the stir, and now there's nothing.
No, well, they haven't got any cars to make, so I guess they've gone on holiday.
No,
all done there.
All done. Yeah, no. What's happened is they've had their the fanfare, and now everyone involved has gone back to making Range Rovers.
Oh yeah, that'll be it. Yeah, because they need all hands on deck for that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can't make those fast enough.
Yes.
Right.
There was some other news this week involving Honda before we move away from them.
Oh God, no. This I have missed.
Okay. Well, there was a headline this week. I saw it in The Guardian, but it's no doubt been reported elsewhere. Honda and Nissan to start talks on potential mega merger.
Mega merger.
Japanese car firms embark on negotiations to combat competition from bigger EV manufacturers. That's clearly Tesla.
Or the Chinese onslaught.
Yes, both, probably. Yes. The CEOs of both organizations appeared this week to announce they are interested in joining forces.
That would be quite the event, wouldn't it?
Wouldn't it? We are discussing possibilities for cooperation between Honda and Nissan in the future in a wide range of fields and in various areas. And those possibilities include latest reports, but there is nothing decided. So they're talking. It's not definite, but they're talking.
It's interesting that they make the talks public.
Isn't it? I thought that was interesting. Normally this sort of thing at this stage would be very behind closed doors, wouldn't it? They wouldn't say anything until they go. But the fact that they have announced to the world that they are negotiating, as they have called it themselves, a mega merger.
Okay, well, I suppose there's also the stance of going, right, we live in a day and age of social media and people snapping a picture on a phone.
Yeah.
You go, well, actually, rather than it being a rumor mill, why not just get out in the open? Yeah, we're
get out in front of it and announce it ourselves. Yeah. Control the story. Don't let rumors get around. Yeah, I think that's fair. Neither Nissan nor Honda exactly dominate in the EV marketplace, if that's what they're focused on.
No, I mean, Nissan have got a bit of a footing. They were there early doors.
Certainly, they did dominate early doors with the Leaf. They've since lost that dominance because they haven't massively developed that technology. The Leaf is still very successful, but it's now one of many rather than being the trailblazer that it was when it first appeared. Honda haven't done a lot.
No, it's been relatively quiet on that front.
Relatively quiet. They had the Honda E, which wasn't massively competitive. It was very popular with the people it was popular with, but its range wasn't really quite good enough. It was a little too expensive.
Yeah.
Very well built, very good looking, but there were better offerings in the market even when it was first launched. So joining forces would perhaps make sense.
I think this could work really quite well.
We'll see where that goes. It's early days. Like you say, it's surprising they've announced it at all, but they must be serious about it to have done that. They haven't announced the detail of any discussion.
No, I'm assuming no timelines or anything like that.
No, nothing as specific as that. No.
Okay.
But speculation is that any deal would probably be the biggest in the industry.
These are two quite major players, let's face it.
Yes.
And I would say neither of them would appear to be outwardly struggling.
No, I wouldn't say so.
This feels like something to remain on the front foot.
Yeah. And it's not clear the word merger could cover a multitude of arrangements, couldn't it? We may not be talking about an actual merging of the two companies into one. They might remain independent, but work very closely together. Honda have done that before. So yeah, we'll see.
Yep. Yeah. They're both such strong brands. It doesn't make sense to lose one or the other.
But I think they're all frightened of what's coming out of China.
Yes.
We're all frightened of what's coming out of China for various reasons, but specifically to do with cars.
I mean, the fact that they are where they are and they're already achieving certain price points.
Yes.
And let's face it, the products are actually quite good.
Yes, that's the problem, isn't it?
I mean, visually, they're a bit poo.
Yeah, they're not the most attractive things in the world, but that's because the Orientals see things differently to the way we do in the West. They focus in on individual details rather than sort of looking at the whole. They have a different way of appreciating design. We often will see it as a bit of a visual mess, whereas they look at the style in each individual component rather than the whole, and it's a different way of looking at it. But
which is fine. It's really interesting to see how design is perceived in different cultures, but it doesn't. They're still selling, and they're selling worldwide.
Yeah, well, they're good. They may not be the best looking, but they're good and they're extremely well priced. So
it comes back to when there was the Top Gear episode about the Chinese cars. Probably getting on for 10 years ago, maybe more.
Yeah, probably.
Devastating.
Yes.
But that while there was a hint of comedy about it, the actual journalistic piece behind it of them going, well, actually, look what they've achieved in such a small period of time. Yes. In 10 years, we will be driving Chinese cars. And they are 100% correct.
It's happening. Yeah, it's happening. And I think it's... I don't think the Germans know what to do about it. Tesla are just going to carry on doing what Tesla do, and Elon, slowly destroying them. And I think manufacturers like Nissan and Honda need to find a way to be relevant.
That's the thing of going, right, you look at the German brands and you go, well, actually, the Germans can probably rely on the premium element.
Yes. Yes, they can lean on that. Nissan and Honda don't really have that.
No, and the same as the European brands, where you got Renault going, right, well, actually, what we're doing is we're going retro.
Yeah.
We're building on our heritage. But then you've got other brands like Peugeot and Citroën. You go, yeah. Well, your products probably aren't too bad, and you're there or thereabouts with some EV tech. That's good going. But the Chinese ones will just undercut you.
Yeah, that's the problem.
The product is equally as good.
Yeah, that's the problem. Brands like Peugeot and Citroën, there's also a perceived quality issue with those brands these days.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, which is, let's face it, it's probably unfounded, but...
It probably is, but perception is everything.
It's ingrained, isn't it?
Yes. Well, I'm buying a Citroën and fall apart. Well, all right, they probably haven't done that for quite a long time, but the reputation they earned for themselves in the 80s and 90s has stuck.
Mm-hmm. So you think as well, like we were talking about the German brands, but VW is well publicised at the moment for struggling. And you got to think that's at the lower end of the German market.
Yeah, very much so. Yeah. Well, the people's car.
Quite.
That's what it means. So,
yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I know. And obviously VW didn't exactly cover themselves in glory over Dieselgate. And there are those that will never forgive them for that. But I think they're in the minority.
Yeah, I genuinely don't think that's the issue. What I do think is the issue is this, the fact that they went so in for EV,
and
then that that's bitten everyone in the arse.
Yeah, their offering wasn't very good, though, was it? That's the problem.
No, it wasn't great, and now the arse has dropped out of that market.
It's dropped out. They launched their products when Tesla was really dominating, and the ID3 compared with the Model 3, there wasn't really any contest. I mean, even the Model 3 journalists were saying was built better.
It's a bold
so it was, but I think it was probably true. I mean, I've heard a lot of reports that the ID3 was actually a bit slung together, and I know they had horrendous problems with the software.
Yeah, the software, the infotainment, the build quality, just dreadful.
Yeah, really. I mean, they even had to dump it and start again, I think, at one point. It was so awful they had to abandon the project and start again.
That's embarrassing for Volkswagen.
Yeah, it is. But I think a lot of manufacturers struggled with the software side of EVs because they'd never had to do software before. Not like that.
It's
bit of sat nav and infotainment, but nothing on the scale that an EV requires.
And most of that, I will just buy that in.
They just buy it in, exactly, and just stick their own user interface on it to make it look their own, and off you go. But for an EV, it's a completely different kettle of fish, and the original VW software, by all accounts, was absolute rubbish.
Well, that's why this concept of Apple CarPlay 2 and the next version of Android Auto really comes into its own, where it actually takes over the infotainment of the car.
Well, I think Johnny Smith talked about this a little while ago, in that the way it probably should evolve is that you just get in the car and dock your phone.
Yeah.
And the software that runs everything is an app on your phone.
Yeah.
That you have installed when you bought the car. And that's just, it doesn't have its own systems. It all runs from the app.
And that's it. It's like we've got these two versions because the world operates on two different versions of phones, and we'll deal with it from there, because CarPlay and Android Auto work brilliantly.
Yes,
I've used both. They're great.
Yeah,
I can't favour one over the other. They both do the same thing in a slightly different way, but brilliantly.
And there's lots of software development technologies now, as we know in our businesses, that allows you to develop an app once that will run on both Android and iOS. So it's not even any more work to support all that.
No.
For the companies. So that, I'm sure, is the way it must go. That you just dock your phone. All right, the car might have a bigger screen that you can, operate it all from. Fair enough, or a head-up display, or whatever, multiple screens. But it's all controlled from the app on the phone. That would make perfect sense.
Yeah, and we will get there. We're clearly aiming at that at present.
Yeah. I think so, but this merger, I think, or potential merger, I think, makes a lot of sense to try and combat what's coming from China and elsewhere. And I think I'm surprised we've not seen more of it, actually, to this point.
Yeah, true. We've had odd pairings, haven't we? I mean, or higher end pairings, like the VW group giving Rimac Bugatti, that's that sort of thing. We're going, right, that's a different scale, let's face it.
That's not mass market.
No, whereas this is quite significant. This is two Japanese powerhouses coming together.
Yeah, these are titans of their industry. Yeah. For sure. It'll be interesting to see what this turns out as, whether it is a full merger, or just some kind of deep cooperation. But it'll be interesting. Interesting.
Or it all fizzles out and they do bugger all.
Or it doesn't come to anything. Yeah. It could be that too. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. That's fine. I know I hijacked a couple of things on your list that you already had. Did you have any remaining items?
Well, the one we've just discussed, the Honda Nissan.
Fine.
Yeah.
Absolutely fine. What I think we should probably do before we wrap it up is there's almost a bit of an elephant in the room, I would say, because I haven't dealt with the Mini.
Oh, that's true.
In the podcast world.
No, I know what has occurred, but you haven't told our dear listener. No, that's true.
No. So, what I think where we left it in podcast land is that it was being looked after for me, so that it basically sawn, and someone was going to look at it for me and give me a verdict.
I believe that's where we left it too. Yes.
So the verdict came back as might be all right.
Right.
Was that right? Okay. But
the word "might" doing a lot of heavy lifting in that sentence.
Yeah. But they reeled off a bit of a list of things, and this was on top of the list that I'd already provided. And I'm like, you know what? I'm not fussed. Now, the guy who was looking after it for me was a mechanic.
Yeah.
And said, look, I think I can sort it. I'm like, oh, good. And he's like, would you sell it? I'm like, depends how much. I won't go into specifics, but it was, I would say, a more than fair price. So I said, yeah, you know what? My life is a little bit hectic at the moment. I will accept the offer.
Very good.
So that's fine. So a transaction was complete. Car changed ownership. However, some time passed, not a lot of time, and I get a few messages from various friends,
including me,
yourself included.
Yes.
Going, is your car for sale? Right. And like, which one? The Mini? Go, no. Well, I said, I've sold it. It's not for sale.
It's not yours anymore.
It's not for sale from me.
No.
So basically, from what I can tell, and from what you've described, other people have described, some people have seen it driving since.
Right.
I mean, the person who saw it driving said it was being driven hard.
I didn't see it driving, but I did see it advertised.
Yeah, so the advert had it for a price, and I looked at the price and went, that's interesting.
Yes.
That's less.
Quite a lot less.
How has that happened?
Yes.
So there weren't very many photos.
No, they weren't very good.
The description was dreadful.
Awful. Yes.
But one bit in there was like, it was like, oh, there are quite a lot of trim pieces missing, and I was like, hang on. I thought, when I sold it, there were 2 missing, but 2 replacement parts that I'd not fitted. That I said, well, you have them. If you can do it, you might as well have them.
Fit them. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Yes.
But no exterior trim pieces missing. So how have you done that? That's impressive. The person who saw it driving said the exhaust was hanging off, and was like, that's a new development.
That certainly wasn't the case when you had it.
No, when I had it, it had quite so mid section and back section were new-ish.
Yeah.
And in good condition when I let it go.
Exhaust was not one of its issues.
Absolutely not. Exhaust was relatively new and in superb condition.
So someone's ripped that off. I knew it wasn't you advertising it because there's no way you would have written the advert that badly or taken such awful photographs.
No,
but I suspected it was yours because of the interior.
The interior is quite distinct, as
is
the number plate.
I didn't know the number plate, but it was the correct age. It was the correct color. It had the correct wheels. It was in the correct location. And that interior, I thought the chances of it being another one are very slim. So I was pretty sure it was yours.
Which is really interesting because actually a 2-minute walk from me is a car in almost identical spec.
But not for sale.
Not for sale. Same age, same color. It's uncanny.
The mismatched interior?
No, matching.
You see, that's the clincher.
Yeah. So yes, I sold it, and it instantly became for sale for less, and in a worse state.
Yes, that's not brilliant bit of business there. I would suggest.
No. Not at all.
No.
And I haven't followed up with the individual in question.
As to what happened.
Because, I mean, A, life is busy, and B, I mean, I just can't be asked at present.
It doesn't really matter, does it? It's just curiosity at this stage.
No, so yes, so I just thought I'd better round it off because we'd left it hanging.
We had, much like the exhaust.
No, I didn't. It was fine. Yeah, I sold it with electrical issues, and it no longer has an alarm siren.
Yes, indeed.
And I was honest about all of those.
Yep. And off it went, and then something occurred, and then it was for sale again, but for a lot less.
Yeah.
Yeah, weird. However, you are no longer the owner of a Mini Cooper.
No, I'm not the custodian of that. No, that particular vehicle full of electrical gremlins is no longer mine.
No longer your problem. Very good.
No.
Has there been any movement on your good lady's van?
No, the van is still with us. The van is still doing fine work. That's very much not my area.
No, I know. I'm just inquiring.
I mean, there's still the potential she might flog it. I would say if she's going to, it will be early on in the new year. And I think all of the things we suggest replacing it with were shot down or laughed at.
Well, we sort of expected that, didn't we? Yeah.
But there we go. That's very much her vehicle and her money. So
yeah, crack on.
I will offer suggestions if she were to say, "What do you think of this?" As an alternative, I would also give opinions. I'm always ready.
Oh, plenty of those available.
Yeah, but yeah, we'll see.
Okay.
At present, no movement because it is firmly in use at present.
Yes, I didn't mean actual no movement. Yes, or actual movement. But no, it'll be busy this time of year.
Yeah, she's full on with work. But circumstances are due to change, so it'd be interesting to see where we go. But
yes,
as soon as there is a glimmer of even a potential of having a new vehicle on the horizon, I will be on it. Don't worry.
Very good. Be disappointed if you weren't.
But yes, as it stands now, we are very much a 2-car family once again.
Very good. Very good. As are we.
Yeah, that's it. And just to really sort of deal with housekeeping, let's face it, you haven't driven the MX-5. See,
Yeah.
one day.
That might be true.
When you say might, it's definitely true, isn't it?
Yeah.
100% correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
I would say, as we're in the festive period, you've got some time on your hands. But God damn it, I know you're not going to get out there and drive it.
I'm going to try and not get out there and drive anything. To be honest, I'm going to be far too busy eating and drinking.
Perfect. That's fine. All right. Let's wrap it up, but with your New Year's resolution of, in January, I will drive a Mazda MX-5.
God damn it, I'm going to do it.
Yeah, that's good. I'm not going to be as bold as to say, Mike will be doing dry January. I'm not insane. Mike will drive an MX-5.
Yeah, let's stick with attainable goals, shall we?
Yeah. Realistic. Yeah.
Well, I think that's probably enough of that for this week. Check us out on all the various social medias and things. Thank you very much for listening.